Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for a new episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. And today's video is going to be a review on a new documentary that was just released on Friday the 13th. This was a documentary that's being put out by Dread Central Presents as well as Epic Pictures as a joint effort. And it's a documentary on iconic stuntman Kane Hodder. The inspiration for this documentary is based on the book that Kane Hodder and Michael Leosi did about, I'm going to say this was about 7 years ago, and this is Unmasked. This is a biography on Kane. I did a review on this book back in 2011. It's probably one of the first book reviews I ever did on this channel. And the name of this documentary is called To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder Story. This just came out on July the 13th. I pre-ordered it a couple weeks ahead of time. I will put a link down below for people that are interested in checking this documentary out. I won't give too many specifics about it, but I do want to talk about the impact that it had on me and why I think it's one of the most personal documentaries I've ever seen. I mean, not only does this doc talk about Kane's amazing career, how he got started in the business, what led him to become Jason in Friday the 13th, and how he became a part of the Hatchet franchise as the main character, Victor Crowley. So there's a lot of great details in this about how he stepped out from behind the makeup to become a full-blown actor. But it also goes really deep and personal into his childhood and, of course, the tragic burn accident that left him disfigured. The movie was directed by Derek Dennis Herbert, and it features not only Kane and his family, but it also features interviews with Robert Englund, Cassandra Peterson, Bruce Campbell, and director Adam Green. This documentary really got to me, and speaking as somebody that knows what it's like to be bullied growing up, to hear somebody like Kane and to see that he went through some of the same things that we all go through, people that are different, people that don't really fit in, you never would expect it though from someone like Kane, because he is so, in my opinion, he is very intimidating. I was lucky enough to be able to meet Kane back in 2014. He was here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Kirk Von Hammett from Metallica had a convention called the Fear Fest of Evil. And I spoke very candidly with Kane. You know, I wanted to, I had my Jason shirt on and, was singing his praises for everything he's done. Talked to him about, the fact that he had done, Holliston and things like that, and Hatchet, of course. But, he brought up, I talked to him about the book because I had read, Unmasked at that point, and we talked about the book, and he did bring up the fact that, the hospital where he was treated for his burns was not too far from where we were. And I could see it still, there was just a difference to him when I first started speaking with him, and then when that subject came up and he brought it up, and it was really emotional. I could see that it was emotional for him to even talk about it. This documentary just really showcases what a good man Kane is and what he's had to go through in his life to get to where he is. As a child that was bullied, it was really easy for me to identify with Kane, not only in this documentary, but when I first read the book Unmasked. When I read that book, it was hard for me to understand how someone that's as intimidating as Kane is, and like I said, when I met him, he intimidated the shit out of me, and I'm sure he's done that to others. But it's hard to believe that that man went through what he went through. He seems like such a strong man, but he really went through a lot of shit when he was a kid, and it's detailed really pretty graphically in this documentary. And I was picked on. I went through it as a kid. It's not fun being bullied, and it was just because I wasn't a fighter. I was just a easygoing kid that didn't like conflict. I was just very much to myself, and because I had the name Ben, and it was like, I was called Benji the dog, and I had glasses, so I was picked on for that. And I just wasn't as outgoing as some of the other kids. I was very much an introvert. It's just the way I was. So I did get picked on. I didn't get picked on to the level that Kane did. But, just listening to him and talking about what you go through when you are picked on, when you are bullied, I went through some of those same emotions. And so it really resonated with me what he was saying in this documentary. And also just, him going into detail about surviving, going through that burn. And that horrible fire stunt that happened in his early 20s in Sparks, Nevada, when he was doing this stunt for a local newspaper. It's in the book, it's detailed in the book what happened, but hearing him talk about it really got to me. The fact that he was able to go and do fire stunts after that, you know, that he did that stunt in Friday the 13th Part 7 where he was ignited and on camera. And it's just, after surviving what he survived, the fact that he's strong enough to go and do these stunts, and even these fire stunts, it just amazes me. Shows what a strong man he is. It's just a fantastic documentary. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're a fan of Kane Hodder's, you owe it to yourself to pick this up. And if you can pick up Unmasked, I definitely recommend this book as well. Both are fantastic. Kane is just a fantastic person. Have so much respect for him. I already respected him before I read the book, but reading that book and then of course seeing this documentary, he's such a master of his craft. To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story gets 5 skulls. So yeah, that is my review of To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story. I'm curious if anybody else has seen it. Please leave some thoughts in the comment section below if you have. If you've read the book Unmasked, I also recommend people checking that out. Both of these are completely worth it. I will put links for both of them in the description box below, so people can pick up the book and pick up the Blu-ray if they'd like. But yeah, definitely recommend them. Like I said, if you're a fan of Kane, what he went through is amazing, and the fact that he's still here to talk about it just blows me away. But yeah, fantastic person, Kane Hodder, and it was an honor being able to shake his hand and tell him how much his work meant to me. So that's going to be it, my fellow fiends. I will talk to you guys later. I have some really cool stuff that I'm working on coming up in the next couple weeks. Hope everyone look forward to that, and I hope everyone has a great evening. Take it easy. Stay scared as always.